Guys, welcome back to the with Esenam. If today happens to be the first time you're watching me, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the post notification and give this video a thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends as well. And if you are a returning viewer, I'm so glad and I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. So let's get right into today's video. So the first thing I would like us to note is that whatever you hear over the internet may not have like the 100% accounts. Chances are writers may be exaggerating or may withhold vital information. With that said, so moving from Ghana to Kuwait and then to Saudi, it was then that I actually realized a lot of things. To start with, one of the things I noted was how the Ghanaian agents, were able to make business transactions with the Kuwaitis or the agents in Kuwait and then the clients in Kuwait. Now let me differentiate it. The agents in Ghana happens to be those who are in Ghana, those who convinced my dad to tell me to travel. Those are the agents in Ghana. The agents in Kuwait were those who picked us from the airports, the Kuwait airports, to their place. Those are the agents in Kuwait. And the client here is those I went to work for. Now, what happens is that the agent in Ghana, once he or she identifies you, they take your picture, your details and everything, and then they send it to the agents in Kuwait or in Saudi or wherever they are. Now what they do is that they present your information as somebody went for an auction, the way they do auctions, yes. So they present your information and then the clients come around to bid. That's how it looks like that's how I could best explain it. So when they come, they go through the informations or details of whoever they've been given. So supposing they are like about 3 or 4 pictures and details of employees around, they take one. This person doesn't look so nice. Maybe the person will be good at the kitchen, looking at the age and everything. See, maybe they take the next one. This person has a very attractive face. The children will like her. She should be our nanny, They take that one. They're like, we don't like the age. We don't like this. Then they ignore the person. So that's what they do. That's what they do. So once they are able to settle on who they want, they let the agents in Kuwait or in Saudi get to know that we are picking maybe number 1 or number 2 or number 3. Then the agents in Kuwait or Saudi will let the agent in Ghana know that so this is who they want. Kindly finish up their papers ASAP and let them come. And guess who pays for all of that? Your passport, your visa, your tickets, everything. Who pays for that? You guessed right. It is the clients who pay for that. And whilst the bargaining is actually going on, they also bargain prices. So if the person actually gets to like this particular person and then takes the person out or points the person out, that's when they bargain. And these people, their passports are very expensive. Their visa is very expensive from here to there, and you're supposed to pay us this amount. And so at the end of the day, they are paying like extremely huge amounts of money. They are not just paying for you to come, they are paying the agents in Ghana for bringing you, and they are paying the agents there for managing you when you get there. and they are going to pay you as well. So imagine I am the client paying for your passport, your medicals, your visa, your ticket, everything. Once you move from Ghana to Kuwait and you're handed over to them, I'm supposed to pay you monthly, every month. How do you expect the person to use you? It's like the person bought you. I mean, I've paid huge sum of money, like huge amounts of money, okay, for your passport to be done, for everything to be done, and you are here, you're working for me, not for free. I'm supposed to pay you again. What do you think? They are going to use you, like they are going to so use you like crazy. That's why, we have a lot of challenges when we actually get there as individuals or whatever. So that's it. So with this fact or basis established, like now that you know that we were actually sold indirectly and now that you know that is the reason why they use people and people get to complain, because at the end of the day, you the worker, you have no idea that this is actually what went down, okay? You have no idea. You think, okay, I'm going there to do my basic job. But trust me, because you've been indirectly bought, even when you're sitting down, like you're done with everything, you're done with everything, and you're sitting down trying to relax, they feel like they're wasting money. So they will definitely call you back. Do this. There were times I had to clean walls, like the room walls, just because I had finished all the stuff I was supposed to do, and then there was nothing else to do, so I had to just clean walls. Interesting, right? Yeah. So when I went there initially, the first thing I did was that, no, not the first thing I did. The first thing they did was to take my passport. They took my phone, and they told me whenever I wanted to call, I would have to buy recharge card. Yes, they'll load it, and then I can call whoever I wanted to call. And I was like, you took my phone? Really? You took my passport? Well, I anticipated for the worst. But then at the moment, there was like barely, I couldn't do anything about that. I mean, you're there to work, so just look at what you have to do and then start it. So the first challenge was language barrier. My people were Arabs, okay, and I'm from an Anglophone country. So you can imagine, it was so hard trying to let them know what you actually want, let them know what you want to communicate to them. So it had to do with a lot of actions, like you have to try and be doing signs all the time. For example, you want to say, let's say, I am done washing the dishes. Because you don't understand the Arab or Arabic, and they don't understand the English, you have to go and take plates. You have to go and take a plate and tell the person, Anna, me. I've washed this. Finish. Interesting, right? So that was how it was like for a long time. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, I ended up in a family of 4. That's the man, his wife, and 2 kids. The unfortunate part is that they were staying in the man's mother's house, so it was a family house, and that means whenever you hear family, you should anticipate a family of like 9, 10, 12, 15 children. So if the woman was able to give birth to about 9, 10, 15 children, you should just do the math. How many grandchildren has she got? And how many great-grandchildren has she got? Yes, just do the math. So imagine there's a weekend, or imagine They don't even have weekends, so like as and when they want, they come and visit. So you should be expecting on a daily, you should expect that there'll be visitors around, and whenever there are visitors around, trust me, the workload is crazy. Because you have like multiple mouths to feed. You have cooking to do, and personally I wasn't doing the cooking, they had a cook, but then you have to help her. I was taking care of the children, and so when these families come and they don't bring their helpers or nannies along, then you should also know that I have a school of kids to take care of, like a whole class to take care of. Hey God. And it was not easy. And there were times that they intentionally did certain things just to provoke you. For instance, my boss's son, the second one, had Natara, what they call it, glasses. That's how they call it, Natara. And then they would intentionally take the glasses out, like off him. He couldn't really talk at then. He was very small. And hide it. And then my madam would be furious. Where's the Nasasa? Where is it? Where is it? The way she will scream at you, God. If you don't take care, like your soul will leave your body instantly. And you're supposed to be all around, like looking for this glasses here and there, moving things, rearranging them. And sometimes I don't get to see them. Other times I look at where I actually found the thing and I'm like, nah, this couldn't have been maybe any kid. A kid cannot hide this thing here. It is definitely the person herself, or maybe one of those who came around who doesn't like you. And woe betides you if you happen to enter a family whereby maybe the sister-in-laws don't really like your boss. Then you are dead. Then you are dead. You are so dead, because they don't like your boss, but they can't really tell her to her face, we don't like you, you're married to our brother, we don't like you, and that's so they'll frustrate you so that it gets to your madam. You get the whole idea. Yeah. Other times when you know you are so done with your work, like for the day and all of that, that's when you start marking time. Sometimes I was instructed to move around with the kid. So supposing the kid runs here, I have to run to that place. The kid goes, you have to run to, like, you are like a watchman over the kids or something. It got to a time, it became so frustrating. Like you just can't breathe. You don't have a breathing space, as in, you can't finish for the day. There's nothing like that. And then my madam happened to give me an alarm, which was supposed to, I don't even remember the time it was set to, but I couldn't sleep after that alarm rings. I remember there was a time I slept, like overslept, and when the alarm went off, I didn't even hear it. Then this woman came all the way to where I slept. It was interesting. So the frustration, the anxiety, you are always on your foot, like you are always on your feet 24/7, almost 24/7, not 24/7, almost 24/7. Like nobody appreciates what you do. After all, you don't need them to appreciate it. Nobody's going to appreciate it anyways. And then the frustration from externals, the external people, like they don't like your madam like that, so they frustrate you. Sometimes you go and wash, you can't find the clothes. The kid is wearing the glasses, you can't find it, you have to look for it. And then they make sure that with every little thing, they over complain. So say my madam isn't around and I'm taking care of the kid and the kid cries. Imagine what they will tell them. Like, they'll tell my boss or my madam when she comes back. They're like, and then she did this, she did that. Sometimes, like, it was so hard understanding what they were saying. So whether they are lying or telling the truth, you personally, you don't know. All you know is that when they come directly to you to start giving you the warnings and start screaming at you, so it got to a time whenever I heard my name, and they were not calling me by my own name, they gave me another name, Layla. Yes, Layla, that was the name. Whenever I heard the name Layla, like wherever I was, you'd see that Miyema Shime, Namabo bring, like, I got scared at once. I'm like, I'm just wondering. I start wondering, what is going to happen again? What's next? Are they going to scream and shout at me? You know, there are those things you can actually normalize, or maybe a matia, normal. And then there are those things you just can't normalize no matter how hard you try. And this was one of them. So what made me to finally leave was, first of all, the pay was not great. Then what they were supposed to pay me, they were not paying me that. The pay was not great, first of all. What you're supposed to pay me, you're not paying me that, second of all. Thirdly, then I have to start taking care of my own very self. I had to buy my own soaps. They were so expensive, so I didn't get it. We were told you were supposed to cater for all of these. What is due me, I'm not getting it. What you are supposed to give me to cater for me personally too, I'm not getting it. And then on top of it, it was within that period that I lost my mom. And I wanted to come back to Ghana so bad. I wanted them to at least let me go and come back to do the work, so that whatever expenses they incur, I could come back and even come and work to replace it and stuff like that. But they refused. Do you know how that hurts? Like, I understand them, from their own point of view. I mean, at the end of the day, they are losing. What if I don't come back and all of those blah blah blah? Yes, I get it. But you didn't lose your parents. Sorry, you didn't lose your mom. I did. And I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I wanted to go. He said no. I just lost it. Like, that was the height of it for me. So one day they came around and I had packed my stuffs and I was waiting for them in front of the gate. And I'm like, today is just the last day. I can't take all those things anymore and I'm leaving. And they brought me back to the agents. That was how I left Kuwait. Not entirely though, because I went to the agents and had to stay with them for a couple of days. Now, when you go back to the agents, what happens is that they give you like a day or two to rest, and then the subsequent days, you join them to the agency. So for those who were not able to actually pay for people to move all the way from their native countries or their hometowns to Kuwait or Saudi, they come around to they come around to check and see if there are people there who haven't actually gotten people to work for. And then they negotiate with you, okay, we'll pay you this or that. If you like it, you go and join them. If you don't like it, you can join them. Now, the working and the frustrations and the pressures and the abuses and all of that differs from one person to another. The reason being that differs the place you are working at, differs the place I'm also working at, differs the third person's place of work. So whatever goes on in house C is different from what goes on in house B, and it's different from what goes on in house A. The reason why I'm saying all of this is that at a point, I think I created a WhatsApp group, because when you go out there, like, you get to meet people who are actually Ghanaians, and another thing to where we camped or we lived or stayed when I was in Ghana in the agent's house. We got to meet other Ghanaians who were also traveling to do the same work as I did in Kuwait, and so we exchanged contacts. When they got there, they tried to stay in touch because it wasn't everybody's, like everybody who lost their phone. For me, my phone was taken. It was after I left the Kuwait, the house I was in Waha, that I regained my phone. And that's how come I created the WhatsApp group to connect other people. And the kind of things some of my colleagues went through. That'll be for another day. So today, let me just quickly wrap up. I think being in Kuwait was the start-off point. I think I got to understand the Arabic to an extent in Kuwait. It wasn't all that bad amongst the frustrations, the pressure. Like sometimes you're working and you're literally crying because, Aubrey, you're so exhausted. Like you know in your body, in your spirit, in your soul that you are exhausted, and yet you still have work to do. You still have to soldier around children, and you still have walls to clean. You still have carpets that we sent to whatever they are called to wash for us. And if you probably I would be dropping pictures and stuff. If you know an Arabic setting, you know how they sit and eat, and so you would know how big their carpets are and all of that, and you're supposed to be washing them and all of that. Hey. Now, there were times we had to travel all the way from Kuwait to Saudi because my bosses, parents and siblings were in Saudi. So that was how I even went to Saudi whilst I was still with them in Kuwait. And then in Saudi too, I went to a home where I met this Ghanaian lady. And it was fun. At the time, they didn't even want us to be together, as in they felt like we're talking about them or plotting against them and stuff like that. But the simple and short of that encounter was that the lady was actually, tough. She had the boobs and butts in place, So whichever dress her madam got her, whether you like it or yes, you would see the front elevation and back elevation. And the woman couldn't just take it because she's bought like extra large. I don't know if that exists, but she bought like the biggest size of all. And yet still, when this lady is passing, you can visibly see the protrudings protruding. I don't know if that is an English word though. Hey, it was terrible. So like now, she had problems because of her body. And she had zero tolerance for stuff. So you can imagine, like, if you give it to her, she's giving it to you. If you scream at her, she's screaming at you. She told me that initially when she came, she didn't really know them, so she was observing them for a while, and then she got to know that these people, this is how they are. So if I don't step up my game, they were going to just run me over like that. And she was very matured. So like, you can't. There are certain things they will do to me, they can't do it to her. As in, the way they'll just randomly put certain things at certain places and ask you to do them. She'll be like, I had already cleaned this place. No, I have done that already, and I'm not going to do it, whether you like it or not. She just give it to you like that. I don't know how her case ended as to whether she left there or they sacked her or whatever. Because when I left Kuwait for the agents, we lost contact, and that was it. Because we didn't communicate like that. I didn't have my phone, and she had her phone. She did, but then they bought her a wrong SIM. Or should I say, they didn't register the SIM card or something. So she would try and try calling severally. It wouldn't go through. Sometimes we'll tell her that it's the airtime. She would give them money and give them money for airtime, which never came. Or when it comes and she uploads it, she doesn't. Oh God, what illiteracy you can do. But anyways, that's just by the way. Experience and everything was good, but was it worth it? Was it worth it? You can't complain. The reason why probably I'm able to even speak about this is because I've already gone through it, and then I've actually let all those hurts and pains, go to bed and all of that. So yeah, that was what happened in Kuwait. And I stayed in Kuwait for 6 months. Then 2 years in Saudi Arabia, where the journey really started. So this is like part 1 or part 2. Okay, the part 1 was the other video. So this is part 2. So watch out for part 3. What actually went on in Saudi Arabia. As it is today, if you ask me to choose between Kuwait and Saudi, I would choose Kuwait 100 times over Saudi. If you know, you know. So before I wrap up, let me quickly tell you these 3 things. Supposing you find yourself there, know these 3 things. Just know them. 1, you were indirectly bought. So you don't have any ownership whatsoever over yourself. They own you 100%. They own when you get up, when you go to bed, when you take your bath, when you eat. They own you like you are under bondage, or should I say slavery, if that's too harsh. But that is what it is. Just take note. Now, the second thing you should also take note of is that you can never please them. You can never please them. And if you do, it will be for like 5 minutes at most. At the back of your mind. That's in case you're already there, or in case you plan on going there, just to know that. Trust me, I will never wish for any of my siblings to be there. I would never in my life wish for any of my siblings to go back there. If you are going there for recreational purposes, for fun and stuff, that's cool. But to work as I did, no. Hell no. And then the third thing I want you to note is that you can only survive by grace. They own you, in case you've not noticed that yet. So if your owner says you are dead, you are dead. If they are saying you are lying, you are lying. If they are saying you hate my child, you did. So you can only survive by grace. That's it. Period. Whoever your grace is, that's up to you. But you can only survive by grace. So I'm going to end here, and hopefully in my next video I'm going to let you guys know how I ended up in Saudi and what happened. It's going to be a much detailed account, since Kuwait was just like 6 months and Saudi was 2 years. 2 years in hell. Well, until my next video, don't forget to do you, and